Hey everybody, it is Badger and Ranger for LCS Weekly. Episode Trace.
Boom.
Trace. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. So,
I've been doing crap today.
whoa. I haven't either. That's a lie. I've been doing a lot of stuff today because work and things. Nailed it. LCS Weekly. Kicking things off, we start off with news. And
News.
I have pressing news from the LCS.
Everyone pay attention. Something drastic happened.
Gambit has won a game. Loved it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Diamond. I still look at you as like a prophet, more like a fallen prophet now.
No, but they won. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, Nick tried to make him lose, but Pinoy.
Yes. Anyways. Yeah. So
Well,
Gambit
my
won.
news that's actually relevant.
Mhm.
If any of you missed Meet Your Makers has a player, what's his name? Corey? Corey said he was going to leave.
Yep.
And Meet Your Makers coach said, since you were underage when you signed, I'm going to take your mommy's house.
Because she
That's
signed
what he
for.
said. He will make sure that she will lose her house. Anyway, he recorded this conversation because he's a smart man.
Mm.
So, whole bunch of stuff went down. He was let go. The manager was.
Yep.
Meet Your Makers is talking to Corey. They want to apologize, make sure he doesn't sue him too bad for the terrible things that happened to him. No, Riot's actually deliberating.
Yeah.
Directly
Riot's
over
stepping in,
what's
which
going
is needed. Oh.
Yeah, which, I'm all about. You okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm all about separation of Riot from everything, but this is one of those things that someone professional needs to step in because professionalism was lost in the situation.
Very agreed. Very agreed. It's a really unfortunate situation. Yeah, he wanted to leave before the season was going to start, actually. So.
I think it was like a day before.
Yeah, not a lot of time.
Yeah, I can understand how people were heated.
Yeah,
but you don't threaten to ruin someone's mom's life.
Also true. It's just pretty crappy on both sides, honestly. So, but yes, I agree.
This cat, dude.
It loves you.
It does, and I hate it. All right.
Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into previous week's matches. What happened? Who did what? Who lost what? Who won what? And any specific matches we want to touch on. So let's go ahead and jump into the EU LCS Day 1. On Day 1, a smattering of games, obviously. H2K was defeated by SK. Not surprising. Fnatic, this is a big one. They lost to the Unicorns of Love.
I would say that would be the game to watch for the EU. I thought that was like the most magically fun game. And not just because, a great team lost to a mediocre team. No offense to Unicorns. Didn't mean it harshly, but you are in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Or Fnatic was on the top. But you got to see how Annie and LeBlanc can be played around.
Yeah.
LeBlanc had a great score, but they weren't giving Yellow Star opportunities to Annie stun their whole team.
He did try one that went badly.
Yeah. I mean, he was missing them and getting like one or two people that weren't ideal. And then they were making sure LeBlanc was always addressed, is how I should say. They never forgot about her. She never got to do her little. And I mean, Unicorns of Love played it looked chaotic.
Yeah, it looked chaotic on both sides because of the way Fnatic was falling apart and the way that Unicorns was finding their openings. But then I think, the nail in the coffin was the one attempt that Yellow Star made that would have been pretty game-changing, I think, for at least them to stay in the game and have a relevant chance as he flashed into that Ahri charm right in the face. And
just took it.
Yeah, didn't even have a chance to get off Tibbers.
I'm right here.
Yeah, it's just like, take me now, taunt! Yeah.
And he was taken, so...
Yeah, so it was unfortunate, but that was it was a good match, and I'm not 100% surprised by it, but I will say a little surprised. So
yeah, it's not game breaking, but I was like, oh,
yeah,
all right, and it was like what 75% in favor of Fnatic or something.
Yeah, it was 73.82. I just pulled it up. Anyways.
Yeah, he just pulled that out, guys.
That's true. although it's on the screen at the time. Anyways, next was Meet Your Maker against Elements. Elements won that match. Rocket took on the Giants Gaming, and Rocket pulls out another victory. Rocket probably, what we were saying, stronger team than their previous record had said they were. They had actually a pretty bad record, but this has brought them into the middle of the pack. People are expecting Rocket to continue to maybe perhaps rise. So
You think top 3?
I think they're definitely a contender for top 3 for sure. Yeah, I believe so. They just need to win a few more games. I think they had a tough early schedule, and now they'll start to pick up some more wins. So we'll have to see who they play this coming week for sure, and see how that goes when we get to our predictions later on. And then the Copenhagen Wolves beat Gambit on day 1. And yeah,
Gambit didn't have a chance to win this game by how it was played. But I think beforehand I would have said Gambit. Gambit could do this. Again, Gambit being voted for with 0 wins, higher than Copenhagen to win this game. Mm-hmm. Which I think is, those are the diehard Gambit fans.
The people want it too. They want to see the old glorious Gambit gaming rise back up and win some matches. Gambit was fun to watch when they were winners back in the day.
Massive amounts of kills per game.
Oh, tons.
Just for blood, all the time.
Well, this is interesting, and we'll get to it. I'm just going to mention it now, but they had a couple players get crazy points in fantasy this week, even only winning 1 game, but their games are longer like that, and when they go crazy and kill things, they keep killing things. They get into fights a lot. That's what they do.
They do.
We'll get to that later on in fantasy, so or at least picks and goods and bads and underperformers and overperformers. So, but then day 2 then occurred. Obviously, Fnatic won, so they only came out 1-1 for the week. They won over Giants. Giants had a tough week. They lost both their matches. They probably were hoping to actually become one of those teams that could rise into the middle top half of the pack. Now they're sitting towards the bottom though because of their mediocre week. Gambit then won their match against H2K. And that was the glorious news.
On the scoreboard.
Better than a 0.
Now, if you were watching this game, I felt like Nick and IQ wanted to lose. He was like, "Can I help us stay with no wins?" And is that you? That is you. Okay, cool. No, I thought my League of Legends popped up.
Nope.
But Panoy just dug some graves and he went off. But yeah, it was good. Oh, and who was that?
Cabochard.
Anyway, Cabochard makes a great Aurelia.
Yeah.
Wicked has some competition.
Yeah, I like it. I did really like that, actually. They find themselves on the board. The game was really long.
It was.
It didn't look like they were in control of it. I remember watching it for like 10 minutes screaming like, just end the game. Just go win the game. Go win.
How far were they ahead at one point?
Oh,
was it 12?
They played it beyond safe. It is their first win, but yeah, they were really far ahead at later in the game, and they won it and they pulled it out, and yeah, that's good. But at one point I was just like, go, just run in and do things. So
yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to Gambit, and then next was Rocket beating out Meet Your Maker. So Meet Your Maker now is tied with Gambit. Meet Your Maker not having a great season thus far. They're trying to find their stride, and I don't think they've looked particularly terrible, but they just haven't put together enough to win, really.
Yeah, I'll say that. Like, they're not making horrendous plays. They're just not making winning plays.
Yeah, they're very coasty, team coasty.
Yeah,
like they're not terrible, but they just aren't winning anything.
Yeah.
So
we're here to play.
Yeah.
So. And
then next was the Unicorns of Love. Losing actually to the Copenhagen Wolves, which I actually thought they would have won that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Copenhagen's 3-3.
That was a disjointed game, though, if I remember.
It was. It was very disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
What does disjointed mean?
It was very chaotic.
Disorganized.
And at least on the side of the Unicorns, I thought. So it didn't look anything like their performance against Fnatic, although that was a little disjointed as well. But they looked, I don't know if they were like on a high from winning over Fnatic and we're like, oh, Copenhagen, we got this. They're 2-3 right now. No, it didn't go in their favor. So
Unicorns of Love are just that very guerrilla warfare type team.
Yeah, they like to fight, and it sometimes works great, and sometimes it's just Yeah. Disjointed, using it again. And then finally, their final match of the week for the EU was, of course, Elements versus SK Gaming.
Nope. No kitty. No kitty. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure Elements really wanted to win this one. It would have proven that they were top seed, would have put them up there. Not top seed, but
A top team.
Yeah. Would have tied them all at 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
All three teams.
Mm-hmm.
They just weren't able to do it.
Yep.
I had a problem with Froggen in that game.
Okay.
Did you watch that game at all?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed like Froggen was he was trying to force things.
He did okay early, and then they felt like they were all forcing things. It wasn't just him, but he should know better, I personally think, because Froggen is a good player. But
Good
yeah,
player, lots of experience.
I feel like he was forcing things. I feel like they all were forcing things when it just kind of came around. Because realistically, Elements' team composition of diving and locking down pick comp, they knew what they needed to do, and they executed it really well for about 20-ish minutes, because they had 8 kills, 2 deaths. They were doing good. They were getting objectives. And then they had the one play where Rengar overextended after they committed with a Leona ultimate that didn't hit, and they all kind of kept going. Then they kind of scattered, and then they all closed in on them. And that little bit of turning gold and momentum just swung the game back around for SK. SK didn't look super amazing in that game, but they did what they needed to and capitalized on the one moment they had, and they took advantage of it. If any other team, like if Elements would have been like, whoa, botched play, let's just all get out immediately, don't overcommit to it, I think they could have retained control of this game, and I think they could have won this game because their other picks were good. But other than that, they had the one massive misplay, and that was their demise. Yeah,
they had Leona, Rengar, and Lissandra.
Mm-hmm.
They all wanted to hard engage, just blow someone up and do some great play. Janna's really good at disrupting that. Janna's fast, she's tricky. I think it was a great pick. I think if you're going to pick a comp like this,
mm-hmm.
you have to do one of two things. Ban Janna, like seriously, ban Janna, or understand that if you don't hit that Leona ultimate, let it go.
Yeah, play defense for another minute. I mean, you gotta just bring it back in, because you need all your pick to get 1 or 2 people off the map to get objectives and kill other kills.
That's shot caller, 100%. As soon as that misses, no, stop, stop, because there has to be that one voice that just says, let it go. But yeah.
Yeah. So, that is the EU LCS.
Woo, EU.
EU. All right, let's jump over to the NA LCS. Do you want to talk about these, or do you want me to? Doesn't matter.
Man, I can talk about.
All right, let's have you do the rundown.
All right, but so first game right off the bat, Impulse beat Gravity.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a great game too. I had money on Gravity. Impulse did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud9, they won. They beat Team 8. I was really worried about it. Cloud9 again, it's been kind of rocky, so great win. Team Solo Mid beat Dignitas. I don't think that was a surprise by any means to anyone. I know that I said they'd be weaker. I did expect more from them in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But
from Liquid?
No, from Dignitas. But
Dignitas, yes. They had a few moments of newfound life, but shoot, what's that new kid's name on the team? Cloud something.
Yeah.
Cloud Nigan? Nugan? Cloudnin? Cloud.
You gotta pull it up.
Cloud clon clay. Cloud.
As we all have to pull this up now because we're
Cloud right here.
Cloud Nugan.
I was right.
Yeah, you're good. You're all over it.
Nailed it. Because it sounds like Cloud9 for no reason.
Yeah.
Anyways, he had moments of the ability to perform and step up as a jungler that Dignitas hasn't had in a while, like the aggression. But, as other people stated in post-game chats and such-wise, he built very solo queue-ish and thought very solo queue-ish in a few plays, and that was not helpful. Granted, I don't think they were going to win the game anyways from his plays that he had made that were helpful early, but you can't do that in the LCS. So,
no, it's a team game.
It did not help.
That. Then the next game was Team Liquid versus Team Coast. Liquid won. Piglet got on the scoreboard. It wasn't a whole bunch, but he got on the scoreboard. He even had his right runes and masteries.
He did,
So,
believe it or not.
well done, Piglet.
Mm-hmm.
No, but with all things aside, I love the Nami pick. So that was my highlight of that.
That game actually,
okay,
I know a lot of people. I know that they're saying that was a really controlled game, and it was. They didn't do anything too crazy that they didn't need to do. They wanted a safe win, and that's what they got. Unfortunately, it still makes me question the strength of Team Liquid at this point because I almost need to see a fancy, flashy win.
I want to see them crush. They're supposed to crush.
Yeah.
They need to crush.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes in the future.
All right. And then the final game of that day was CLG versus Winter Fox. CLG won. CLG's looking good. CLG's looking really good, actually. So cool. And then on to Sunday, and that was Cloud9 versus Team Coast. Cloud9 won. So that puts Cloud9 2-0 on the week, 3-3. Maybe there's some new. They got it back together. I can't say new. They just decided to be Cloud9 again.
The only thing that scares me is they beat a 3-3 team and they beat a 1-5 team. That's the only thing that scares me. But yes, I agree. They got on the board, and this is hopefully a confidence boost just for the rest of Cloud9, and being like, you know what, we won 2 games, guys. We can win games. Let's just win games. I hope that's just the little boost they get from these 2 victories.
Yeah, and it wasn't an impressive anything. If you watch that game, I'm sorry. You wasted some time. It was boring. Then we had CLG versus Gravity. CLG won this one. They got 5-1. What do you feel? How do you feel about this game?
So, I actually like a few moves Gravity made to stay as a contender in the match, but Link was huge on Ezreal, and that did not help them. And Link just did work this game. Really, Link's just been playing really well, and the rest of Counter Logic's been playing really well. And Zion Spartan is the top that they've needed. He's relieving pressure from mid and bot lane, jungle pressure from the enemy team, and because you can't ignore Zion Spartan. He's not like he's the world's greatest player, but he does bring attention to himself, which is a very what they need.
Flashy player. And that's what with you have Aphromoot double lift, Link who's playing great, and now Zion Spartan. I think it adds, like, it's harder to hit this team. There's not a weak spot. I feel like in the past they've had some players that are not as strong in their positions. So it was easier to find holes in their armor and go for that. But right now I think they're pretty strong, and Aphromoot's beasting it up. Besides the holes in their armor that they did have, I think with some of their personnel they currently have too, they weren't performing. I know you hate Link. No. But no, I'm saying same thing with bottom lane. Yeah. I think they underperformed last season. Oh, they definitely did. And so I think they're just all performing on a new level too. Besides having a couple people who didn't fit perfect, now they're all performing much better together. Yeah, they are. And Xmithy is good. So. Yeah. Oh, you can't even leave. I keep leaving out Xmithy. He's doing great. He's playing really smart. Yeah, he's playing. I think he's being unnoticed because the work he's doing is helping everybody else look great. So he's helping out the team greatly, and he's getting a little under-recognized for it, but a lot of that power that they're getting into Link and into the other lanes, it's like Xmithy behind getting this vision control down and ganking appropriately. Yeah, he's pushing. So the next game was Liquid versus Dignitas. Yep. The next game, Dignitas won. All right, next game, Teammate versus Winter Fox. Teammate won. Teammate still contending. This is great. I mean, NA is really close. So super happy about that. And then Team Solo Mid pounded on Team Impulse. You know, the Teammate one though, quick, that was a surprise. I don't know what. There was the early kill they picked up against Winter Fox, that level 1, and then they just. The rest of the game was sloppy for Winter Fox. But you know what I hate, and they said it instantly too, and I 100% agree? Why do you have Pobelter playing a support-style mid laner? He's like a carry god. Like, give him something that does damage. The guy's super good on Assassins. Ahri was open. Was it? I thought it was banned. No, I think it was open. That's a rookie mistake, Pobelter. They wanted to protect Altec. I get it. Altec's really good too, but don't use the other 3 to protect him. Yeah, you don't sacrifice Pobelter to protect a player that is of equal of equal value. And I think because of the level 1, obviously I don't think that's the end of the world, but because they controlled the lanes in after the level 1, Teammate did.
the other unfortunate thing that happened at level 1 was the fact that you fell behind, and then you knew that you couldn't get ahead with a Lulu in your mid lane. It's not going to happen. So that was like they shot themselves in both feet at level 1, and they're like, guys, if we don't fall behind, we have a chance. And then they fell behind, and they didn't have a chance because Lulu mid. Can't do that. So I didn't like that.
I don't like. I can't even say I don't like support mids. I love Orianna. I think she's supporting.
She does more damage though, way more.
Yeah. Oh, she does, but she's still the shield.
I agree. Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna pick a champion that's supposed to protect one, it should be Orianna.
Yep.
So.
And then you said that TSM beat the Impulse.
Yeah. Bjergsen beat Impulse.
Bjergsen did beat Impulse, but this is another concept that we're having a problem with, and we mentioned it in patch notes. Is you gotta ban Ahri right now. I mean, she did just get nerfed now technically, but they're not going to be on that patch. You gotta ban Ahri. She's so strong right now, and as much as these 2 games back to back reminded me of like I was watching the same game. Like teammate kind of ran all over Winter Fox, and then Team Solo Mid just kind of ran all over Impulse, and I felt like I almost watched the same game.
Dyrus was so tanky.
Yeah.
They were just throwing things into him, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, my shield's down now." Oh.
Yeah.
And then just kept walking around.
And the Super Mega Death Rocket that stole Dragon.
That just hurts. That hurts the heart.
Well, the other thing too is that would have been actually huge for a very heavy AD comp.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, that's a big swing because 6% on attack damage is better scaling than 6% on ability power, because you're going to be building hundreds of ability power. So you don't have your huge burst until late game, technically. So that 6% on your AED, which is only going to go up by maybe a couple hundred more, 6%'s a big amount early for you. So they could have really used it.
It did. It's one of those that it shouldn't happen. It does. I mean, smites are fractions of seconds that people miss. You can't hate on a jungler for it. You're not just like, you suck.
You're the worst.
But it hurts. And you can't let that happen.
No, and I mean, that was a god rocket. So, I mean, props to Turtle. That was crazy.
Yep.
He had the right skin on, too, for stealing it, too, because then when he backed, he busts out the champagne and writes it back to base. And I'm like, yeah, that's appropriate.
Jinx is a ridiculous champion.
Yeah. So, that was the NA LCS results. Which, overall, I think the matches got slightly better in the NA, but there's a definite gameplay different style. EU's definitely willing to have fights earlier. Everybody in NA, I feel like they're trying to play more methodically, and I don't know if that means they're better or worse. We'll have to see what happens when the regions come together. I'm really not able to say who's a more powerhouse, because like TSM and CLG look great right now, but you know what, SK looks great, but they both are playing slightly different style games, so I want to see how that would stack up. So, but like I said, methodical play in NA. You don't know. Yeah.
You don't know.
People are just trying to control the objectives and the little bit of control they have, and then in EU, it's like if somebody knows they're a little behind, they'll make a play, and if the play works out, then they're even again, and that's why these games are a little bit longer, a little bit more chaotic. So just different styles in both sides. So, but let us jump now to meta talk.
Oh, the good old meta shift talk.
The meta shift talk.
I want to focus on ADCs.
Okay.
And why Graves is being picked compared to Caitlyn. Let's say Lucian. Why not even Lucian?
Well, he's getting picked over Lucian is the reason.
Yeah. Okay. So Lucian has the passive, which lets him do 2 auto attacks, and it is more sustained damage than Graves can do. However, Graves' damage is so high and so clustered in a small area that if you're going for objectives, you can pretty much back their team into a situation where Graves can just let loose.
Mm-hmm.
Because they both have pretty much the same dash.
Yes, very similar. Very similar.
Yeah, right? So yeah,
but except you get an attack speed buff, obviously, from one.
Yeah,
and the other one gives you a double attack.
And he does steroid quite oftenly if you're going for that IE first.
Yes.
But I think it shows how objective oriented. Lucian was really good in the lane, really good by himself. Graves is showing that team fight where people are locked down with Leona's, Annie's, even Charms.
Yeah, Liz. Anybody who's gonna be in the same position for a split second, he can commit to go all in. We see it in a few team fights too, where anybody gets slat. Like, and the other thing too is we're seeing a handful of Jarvans. So when people get cataclysmed and they're all in there, he's gonna commit to jumping in towards them to get his attack speed buff and get close. He's gonna buckshot ult instantly, and everyone's gonna be half-lifed. And then he'll see if he can clean up. It's not like auto, and then snipe like Caitlyn or something. If somebody's trying to get away, it's all in. Let's see what we can clean up.
Yeah, it's all the games have been very guerrilla warfare-y, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That is an adjective, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And it's showing that these ADCs that are more capable on their own, Corki, Graves, they don't have to rely on so many people. They can take care of themselves. They do really high burst. Are showing more play than like Caitlyn and Misfortune and Ashe and stuff like that. So it's nice. I like it. I like the shift. It's different. It's new, and that's why League of Legends is awesome. I love how season to season things so drastically change.
Even week to week, things are shifting.
It's true.
So, because we saw the rise of Ahri this past week.
Yeah.
But that was because of the buffs to the Q, making her have all that crazy movement speed.
That move speed is nuts.
And I like how when we talked about it originally, it was a burst of movement speed, a massive burst. Like, they didn't give us a number, so we didn't. I was thinking you'd be sped up a little. Dude, she was so fast. Like,
zoom.
And that's why she was being played a lot. So that was another.
It's really hard to hit a champion that's fast as crap. It has dashes.
Yeah.
So
we talked about Narvin the first week, I think. Narvin is still decent. Most teams are either letting one get one and the other get the other. They're both also getting banned a lot. The other thing we are seeing too with the Narvin combo is a few teams have beaten it and they know what kind of helps to beat that combo. So
yeah, they're not being taken off guard anymore.
Yeah, it's not a 100% win rate now. So they know how to play into it, but there's still problems though. Obviously, it's still strong. So Narvin, we'll see it stick around for a little bit, or people trying to pick it so it can't happen. Like, somebody first picks Gnar, the enemy team takes Jarvan, or they'll ban him. So, other than that, meta shift wise, the arisen arise of Nidalee.
Oh, I hate that champion. Okay, I love Nidalee back in the day when it was the spears, but now that is this jungle you can get destroyed early game. But then all of a sudden your numbers just
yeah.
So it's like a ticking time bomb.
One that can go off even if she is underfed and underleveled.
Yeah,
she can still go off. You're
putting stock into hoping that the game will turn where she is just broken. It's like almost like Jax, but even Jax can be shut down. A Nidalee in the jungle can't be shut down.
It's tough. It's tough if they're good, and which obviously these players are good.
You can counter gank her, and she's like, cool, I'm just going to leap away, and you can't keep up with me. You can't chase down Nidalee.
But even if you find her in her own jungle, when you are in there, you might get yourself easily murdered.
Yeah.
So there's a counterplay into her.
She can chase you, she can run, she can run and then chase back up to you, or catch back up to you and chase you down. It's ridiculous, and it needs to be addressed.
You're in her domain. You're in the jungle. She wants to kill you there.
Nidalee's top lane? Alright, I'm going bot. Like, that's how I feel right now.
Alright, see you guys. Have fun.
Yeah, that should have been the
flash early.
Because, she is. Yeah. She needs to be addressed.
She's getting bans now a lot. We'll see how that holds up. Against certain teams, they'll get banned for people who have been playing her a lot. So, but
you know what? I want to add a little section real quick.
Okay.
Top 3 bans for you. Go.
My current 3 bans. Can we do? I usually force the enemy team to ban one of the ones that I don't want. But right now, at least last week, I was banning. Last week, obviously, the patch it just went through. It was Ahri, Nidalee, and Gnar. Is who I was banning. I still just don't want him in top because if he can farm and get tanky, he's too good. And I don't want to run to somebody who's really good at him. My other ones that I usually let them ban, and I'll counterplay it depending on what they're banning, because I pay attention to what they're banning, see if they're trying to do something specific. The ones they usually ban, or I will consider banning next, are going to be Jarvan, Zed, and maybe Azir. Maybe, but he also just got nerfed, so probably not a problem anymore.
Gotcha. I am a firm believer in Kassadin, J4, and Zed.
Okay.
Don't want to see him. Don't want to look at him. Just don't want it to happen.
Yeah, I think Keston's, legit, but I don't think a lot of people play him right, so I don't have to worry about that too often. So.
It's the J4 that I'm really worried about. I feel like J4 can be behind and still be effective.
Yeah, no, I mean J4 is scary, but I think like I said, with the bans I usually do, everybody's banning, like he's getting banned, or I'm gonna first pick it. Like I mean, I'm not too worried about it because I will let that one happen, but it usually doesn't go through. So.
I gotcha. Okay.
Depends on who's first and last ban though, so
I just want to see how the bans differ throughout history.
Sure, I agree. So next, we got the overperformers and underperformers from the previous week. So
I actually don't have this pulled up.
That's
so
fine.
This is all you. I'll just chime in.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about underperformers, and I know about a week ago I mentioned a few that might be good. I don't want to say I was wrong, but my coast people did not perform when I thought they could have. I don't want to say they're bad though, because once again, I think they're fixing things, but I'm not going to tell you to obviously invest in them. So pretty much anyone on coast didn't do great, even
don't
Justice.
invest in them this week.
So I would wait to see if they can turn their season around. I know they're capable of it. Whether or not they do so, different story. The other thing I want to mention for underperformers. Everybody's snagging up EU people because they're scoring lots of points. That's obvious. This is happening. Pick up anybody EU. The only ones I wouldn't right now, I'd even maybe pick up some Gambit players. It's a little greedy and a little early maybe for it, but they do play long games and they do score points typically. They did last week. I'm not saying it's going to continue, but they did get a win. Maybe that's confidence. The what I'd say is look out for Meet Your Maker. They don't perform when they don't perform. Like they just don't do anything. So they also have been looking pretty terrible. And then my last one is Team Liquid. It was a rough week. Their one win was slow, not a lot of kills, and then their loss was obviously a loss, and they didn't get a lot of kills or anything. I don't want to say anything specific on any one player. I think they can all perform. We need to see if it happens, but I give Piglet and a few of them one more week to see if they can start getting wins or something happening, but you might want to consider other people because they're not getting you points. So that's my underperformers lookout list. So
well, I guess my only underperformer again my pick for underperformers is going to be Diamond and IQ. I like them both, but I feel like they're not going to get you a whole lot of points. If they're going to win, it's going to be from Cowboy or Carbon.
No, but they were getting a lot of points though.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to continue this way. I think
okay,
it's going to be,
you think they'll fall off because of it? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So.
Yeah, look at this from last week. Look.
Yeah.
He was third.
Yeah, but it's a Cowboy shot in Pinoy. That train. So.
And Diamond was.
Well,
sixth.
NIQ does a lot of risky things. If you remember, 2 weeks ago when he was playing Ari, he went for like a level 5 tower dive against Cassidy and Elise. He was like trying to hit a charm, and he does these really stupid plays. And I think it makes him fall behind, and so that's why I feel like you should avoid that, because some weeks he'll just poop on himself.
Yep. Okay.
So.
Yeah. Overperformers are people to pick up. Anybody Europe who is on a winning team is pretty much going to honestly get you points at this point.
Yeah, Europe is splitting apart.
So I would say do that. And then other than that, anybody huge who has been picked up for some ungodly reason. Also, I know for a lot of reasons, people did not pick up CLG originally as a team. So if CLG's floating around, you might want to snag them. Also, the same thing with Fnatic. Under the first initial start, people didn't think Fnatic was going to be a good team. They might still be around. So team-wise, CLG and Fnatic, they're good. Let's see if they can keep it up. But they may not have gotten drafted, so look to see. So
yeah,
because I picked up both of those teams. Yeah, because I'm in a couple leagues. So yeah, one of them was floating around in both of them, and I was like, they're doing better than the current team I have. I'll take them both, one in each. So.
Well, for next week, I would recommend picking up Link because of the schedule.
Somebody's got him.
Yeah, make sure to play Link. Link is that's who I'm gonna pick for Destructo.
He does go into Bjergsen, so.
But he's gonna go into Coast.
I also agree.
But
Justice isn't a bad mid laner. I just think
he's not. But I don't think he's gonna be able to
Link's been doing great. So.
And Bjergsen versus Link, if their jungler, if X-Smithy is not.
All the attention will be in mid lane.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. For both sides. So cool.
Yeah.
Well,
you want to do the EU?
Yeah, I'll take on the EU. So coming up this next week, as for our EU matches, day 1, which is probably the day you're seeing this since that's just how it's happening this week, is Thursday, February 12th. Giants Gaming will take on Gambit. I think this should be a good game. Giants want to win, but Gambit wants another win. So it should be interesting. H2K goes into Elements. I think Elements should win. Meet Your Maker then takes on Fnatic. Fnatic should win this game pretty easily. Unicorns will love into Rocket. 2 sprightly teams that want to prove they're good. I think this is a game to watch on day 1.
Who do you think is going to win?
I think Rocket can do this one, though, honestly.
Oh, Rocket.
Yeah, I think Rocket's just a better team overall. And then our last game for that day is the Copenhagen Wolves versus SK. SK is on a tear. I think they're going to remain on a tear.
Rip.
So pretty good there. The next day we have H2K going up against Rocket. Once again, I think Rocket can win this one, but H2K could play a good game. We'll see how that one goes.
H2K is not a bad team.
No, they're not. They're not a bad team. No.
So.
And then SK into the Giants Gaming. Once again, SK should win. They have a fairly easy week this week. And then
this is why you got to win the first game, Gambit.
Yeah, Gambit needs to win the first game because that might be the little spark they need to potentially beat Elements.
They're not going to be able to push around Reckless.
No, but they're not going to. So I assume Elements will win this game unless they for some reason struggle against H2K the day before, who we know isn't a terrible team. But we'll see how Elements handles themselves. They're probably going to be driven to win now after their loss last week. And then the Copenhagen Wolves take on Fnatic. Could be a good game. I still think Fnatic will perform. And then Unicorns of Love should be able to meet your maker. Meet your maker. It's hard to say, oddly.
Can you say maybe?
Maybe?
Nice. All right, continue.
Yeah. So, Unicorns, I think, will win this game and remain a team with exactly as many wins as losses. I think they'll continually win and lose a game pretty much each week until they find consistency.
I think I said this last week. They're the middle team. They're going to struggle against the tough teams, but be able to keep in check the lower teams. They're going to win those lanes. They're going to play chaotic. But a team that is perfectly...
I think they'll do both, though. I think they'll beat a great team occasionally and then lose to a bad team for no reason.
I agree, because they will throw wrenches in how the gears turn. But that team that is firing all pistons and their whole team is all fired, they don't care what you're doing on the sides. They're focused on their objective, and they're going to do just fine. So that's my Unicorns of Love.
Yeah. Yep.
Then NA, over on Saturday, February 14th, we got Team Coast versus CLG. This is why I say play Link. I do believe CLG is going to go off. Team Coast, not a bad team at all. So if this turns sour, it wasn't an easy win. I'm just saying it potentially.
Possibly.
Winter Fox versus Team Impulse. These are 2 middle teams right now. I think it could go either way, in my opinion.
I think Impulse is playing better recently. But yes, I mean, if Winter Fox buckles down, I think they can beat anybody. But yeah, so I favor Impulse a little, but
okay,
should be a good game.
Well, and then Dignitas versus Cloud9. Cloud9 should win this one. Cloud9 was firing. They're doing it again. Cool. Team 8 versus Team Liquid. Liquid should win this. I'm sorry, Team 8, but even though Liquid's been, I don't think they have enough star power to destroy Team Liquid. So
yeah.
Whatever. And then Gravity versus Team Solomid. This should be good again. I don't think Gravity can beat Team Solomid, but
a good game.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, it's true.
Then we have Winter Fox versus Cloud9. Now, if Cloud9 beats Dignitas and Winter Fox loses, I think this should be a smash. In all honesty, I think the Cloud9 game against Dignitas should be another boost. That'll put them to 3-0, and they'll continue going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Then we have Impulse versus Coast. This should be a good show for Coast to maybe impress. Impress? Yeah. But I still think Impulse will win this one.
Yep.
And then we have CLG versus Team Solomid. Super excited for this game. This is my to-watch game. This is who I think right now are first and second. Cloud9, huge Cloud9 fan. I believe that they will, at the end, be number 1 or 2. But right now, it is all about CLG and TSM. So this should be great. Great showing.
It should be a big game.
I'm gonna put CLG ahead because I feel bad for CLG because Team Solomid beat the crap out of them all the time back in the day.
Yeah.
So I always like it when CLG can beat them.
I also think, and I'm gonna say it, I think Counter Logic's a little more scrappy, and that might help them in this match. I know, but that's my only opinion. If it turns a little bit, who can just kind of slug a little bit, I think it might turn to CLG's favor. So.
Aframu and Bjergsen show, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and then we have Gravity versus Team Liquid. I'm
looking at you. I want to see what you say.
Gravity. I'm gonna go with Gravity. I'm sorry. I just talked about Liquid beating Team 8, but I still think Gravity is disciplined enough to beat Liquid.
I think Gravity will come in. Does
Gravity get Thresh?
No.
Are we factoring that in?
No. What I'm gonna say is, I think most of Team Liquid is used to beating up on what was their younger brother team. So So we should see how that plays out.
That.
So I don't know.
True. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Dignitas versus Team 8. I believe Dignitas will win this one. I believe they will finally get their shit together.
That's bold. That's bold.
It is bold. It is bold. I will actually bet you something on this. Something good. A legendary skin. Something. I don't know.
You can do the intro to the next LCS Weekly.
Okay. If I win the bet, you have to sing my little jingle at the beginning of our LCS Weekly.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I can do it.
What do you want?
You to show up on time.
Fine.
Get wrecked. All right, good. Worth it.
Just so everyone knows, Badger is always on time, always ready to go, and I am never here.
Nope, never here. Never ever here. It's okay. We get it done anyways. But that is the matches that will take place. Should be a good week. I'm excited for week 4. I want to see. I know we're still in that middle ground of who's officially leading away from the rest. This should be another week of either all of them falling apart and ending back on top of each other, or we start to really widen gaps and we really start to see who is making their statement. So we're starting to get to that point because we're getting enough games played. So should be a good week. I'm excited.
I am too. I think the top teams, SK and Fnatic on one side, Elements is really close to becoming a top team. They're missing a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Over on NA, I feel like it's TSM and then CLG and Cloud9.
Yeah, I'll go with that for now. Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it. I'm loving this. Everyone plays 2 games, 10 teams. Beautiful setup.
Yeah, perfect. This is the way it should have been.
Some played like 3 and some played 2.
Yeah, it was awkward.
But it's great. Yeah. It's great. Riot's doing a great job. I hope everything works out with Meet Your Makers.
Yep.
And Corey.
Nailed it.
And yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is the LCS Weekly for week 3 recap. Looking for word 2-4.
Yep.
And yeah, that was LCS Weekly. Let us know what you guys liked about the show, what you'd like to see more of, or what you would like to see something slightly different. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a great one, and we'll see all of you guys next time.